So let's start with our 8th chapter of second PUC computer science, that is function overloading. So this function overloading is also known as compile time polymorphism. Okay, so let's break out this whole chapter in the form of a few simple questions. Now, what is function overloading? Explain. This is my first question. Okay, so function overloading is the concept where multiple functions have the same name but different parameters. So this can be explained or done in two ways. So first, see, what is my concept here? Multiple functions, they have the same name, but the different parameters, right? So here in the first, as you can see, it can be done in two ways. Firstly, by having different number of parameters, right? For example, I am using the concept of area only here in my first example, that is A. Okay, so void area int x. Okay, I'm using one parameter here, int x. Now see out area of the square is equal to what? X into x, right? Side square is area of the square. Now void area, again I'm using this area and putting two parameters, that is int x and int y. Okay, so the same function of area, I am overloading it with two parameters, two different parameters. I'm using the same function under the same name, but for multiple functions, okay, multiple works. Okay, so finally see out area of rectangle is what? X into y, right? So the same area function, I am overloading it. So int main area, first value I gave it for my first square, area 10. For my rectangle, area 4 comma 5, that is x is 4, y is 5. So as simple as that. Now next, coming to the same thing, how can it be done in a different way? By using different types of parameters. Means what? In this, as you can see, I used only int. But in the second case, I will change the type of parameter. How? See, void display see out hello. This is a string character, right? Character data type, if I want to say. Then we have void display again, see out int n. Int is again a different character, different type of data type, right? First I used character data type, then I used integer data type. Next, coming to void display double n. So again that double is a different data type, right? As we know, float, double, right? Now double is a more advanced form of float data type, right? That is point using decimals. So see out double n, right? So now what are the values that I can give it here? The first one is display 10. Because why did I give only display? Because I already have my thing called hello over there. Okay, so next, display 10 means what? This int n value I gave it as 10. Display 10.005 means this double n value I gave it as 10.005. So here was our first question. That's all done. Second question is what? Advantages of function overloading. So firstly, it enhances the readability of the program. Secondly, it helps in the using of the same function name to carry out similar types of activities with different parameters. So as you can see, I am doing the similar type of activity, right? Calculating the area in both of the cases. Using the same function name also, area. The function ka name is area only. But what? But with different parameters. My first case ka parameter is what? Only int x. But my second case ka parameter is int x as well as int y. Right? Next, coming to the third one, it is easier to understand the flow of information and debug. What is debug? Debug means to find mistakes. Whatever mistakes I have done in my program. Okay, so it is easier to understand the flow of information that what all I have written in my program and to find the mistakes as well. The code maintenance also becomes easy, right? Because I have been using the same name only of the same function, right? Same function name I have been using, so it is easier for me to maintain the code, right? And easier interface between the program and the real world object as well, right? Now coming to the next question, that is what is an inline function? So an inline function is a type of function where the body of the function is inserted in the function call. So when we call a function, in that time only we are inserting the body of the function. Okay, we will see through example. See, now keyword inline is used to define the inline function. Now coming to the example. Hashtag include iostream.h as well as of course the default piece. Next we have inline int cube int a. So I'm using a function called cube over here. Okay, so here as you can see, I'm just calling the function int. Okay, inline int. So inline is the keyword when I use, okay, while defining the inline function. And int cube, int a. So I am calling my inline function when my function is being called. Okay, this is the function call line. In this only I am putting my inline function as well. Okay, so here what I want, what does the cube work? A into a, right? Multiplying three times the same number is known as cube, right? So not the shape cube, it is in the geometric form, it is in the mathematical form, not in the geometric form. Okay, in the numerical form, if I say. Next, void main again. Then we have int n. So it goes like this. After void main, it goes to the next right side, int n. Okay, see out, enter the value of n, see in n. Then cube n. Here I have used 2 times cube of cube n. Then we have get ch, and then we have closing. We are closing it. Okay, so this is the whole program that helps us understand what is an inline function. Okay, now coming to the characteristics of an inline function. So we are almost done with the chapter with characteristics and advantages and disadvantages of inline function, and then the last concept, that is what is friend function. So now what are the characteristics of inline function? 5 marks, 5 points. Okay, similarly advantages of inline functions and disadvantages, these two always maximum time they come together, that is advantages and disadvantages. 5 points, 5 marks. Okay, so as you can see, advantages are 3, here disadvantages are 2. 5 points, 5 marks. So now coming to the characteristics of inline function. So it begins with a keyword inline. See, most of the characteristics we can get from the definition only. If you learn the definition perfectly, you will get 2 to 3 points from there only. How? See, begins with keyword inline, also mentioned here. Keyword inline, keyword inline. Next, it should not have any loop or switch statement. Okay, and then it should be defined before all other function definitions, executes faster than a normal function, and there should not be any access specifiers. Now for this remembrance of this inline function, I have a small trick for you. That is, remember your most strict teacher. Okay, I know they are strict for your good only, but how to remember these points? So you can remember these points as whatever is there, you should be to the point while answering the teacher. Means what? You have to use the perfect keyword, that is inline, right? And you should not have any loop. Means what? You should not be talking to your friends while the teacher comes, right? Next, we have should be defined before all other function definitions. Means what? Before talking to your friends, you should come and wish the teacher, the strict teacher, right? Or he or she will scold you when they enter. If you are still talking, they will scold you, right? So first you should define them. Means you should wish them before defining other functions. Okay, next we have the fourth one, executes faster than normal functions. So that teacher, he or she may get, okay, this is not always the case, but sometimes may get angry faster than the other teachers. Okay, next, there should not be any access specifiers. Okay, so this is a point that you know you easily won't get access to the full marks when they correct your papers or check your papers. Okay, so they don't be very lenient with your papers as well. Next, to be coming to advantages of inline function. So if you get confused with this story, I better suggest you to go directly with the points. Okay. Now, advantages of inline function and disadvantages as well. Coming to advantages, executed faster than other functions. Okay, almost the same as characteristics. Readability of the program increases. Better code can be generated. That's all other advantages. Disadvantages are what? The size of the executable file increases and the complex code cannot be included. See, when we told that better code can be generated, so complex codes cannot be included as well. Okay, if we include complex codes, the better code generation ka advantage will go off, right? So if I'm writing advantage mein better code can be generated, I have to write in disadvantages that complex code cannot be included. Now, coming to what is a friend function? This is again a 5-marker question as written there. So, a friend function is a non-member function of the class that has access permission to the private and protected members of the class, declared within the class with the prefix word friend. Okay, as simple as your friend itself. It is a non-member function. Means what? It is not a member of your family, right? It isn't some external person, but it's your friend. Okay. And that has access permission to your private as well as your protected talks and all, right? You share everything with him or her, right? So it is the that member of the class which has access permission to the private as well as the protected members, okay, of the class. And it is declared within the class. Of course, you don't make friends if you are living in Mumbai, and you don't make face to face friends with Delhi. Okay, I agree, but so with social media you can do everything, but that contact between the physical friendship, you can't make it, right? So it is declared within a limit, within a class, within a state, or within a society, right? Within the class, with the prefix word, what keyword, what friend, you call him friend, right? So, or him or her friend. Now what are the characteristics? Again, there is a characteristics. Okay, there are characteristics over here. Not a member function of the class. As that's as simple as that. If you learn the definition, it is super easy for you to go through the characteristics as well. So of course it is not a member function of the class, right? Second, it is declared using the word what? Keyword friend, right? The keyword called friend. Next, it should be declared in the public section of the class, right? So it should be declared in the public section of the class. This is the point to be remembered. No operations or no operators are used while calling the friend function. So there are no operators used, like we sometimes say, right? Assignment operator, right? Logical operator. Those and all operators are not used while calling the friend function, right? So if you want to go and call your friend who lives in the neighborhood itself, why will you go and call him? Why will you go take your phone and call him instead of going at his house and calling him, right? So it is the normal external function. The fifth one is what? It is the normal external function. It is a normal external function. Okay. So, with this, finally, we also end up with our chapter known as the function overloading. With how many questions? This was the first one. Okay, first we learnt about function overloading. Okay, and the two ways which we can do. Next, we learnt about the advantages of function overloading. Second question. Third question, we learnt about inline functions. What are inline functions? Fourth question, we learnt about characteristics of inline function. Fifth question, advantages, disadvantages. Sixth and the last question, what is the friend function and its characteristics? So we are done with our chapter called what? Function overloading, right? Or what is this function overloading known as? It is also known as compile time polymorphism. So this can be asked in your MCQ questions. Thank you.